Report to Diego. Subject: Exploratory mediation meeting with City of Lusaka 1970 representatives. Date of meeting: Saturday, the 27th of December 2025. Meeting duration: approximately 2.5 hours. Venue: neutral venue, Rhodes Park. Prepared by Chomba. Executive Summary. On Saturday, the 27th of December 2025, an exploratory, without prejudice meeting was held between representatives of City of Lusaka Football Club and individuals representing the City of Lusaka 1970 supporters group. The purpose was to assess whether there is scope for an out-of-court settlement of the long-running dispute currently before the courts. The City of Lusaka 1970 representatives articulated three core expectations. Financial compensation of 7 million Zambian kwacha for approximately 10 individuals. Participation in the governance and running of the football team. An interest in, or influence over, the 41% community shareholding of the PLC. It was made clear by Chomba that the shareholding structure and ownership of the PLC are not open for discussion. While the meeting was constructive in tone and revealed a willingness to continue dialogue, there remains a significant gap between the expectations expressed by the City of Lusaka 1970 group and the legal and corporate realities governing the club. Chomba requests that Diego digest the contents of this report and notes that he reserves his views and recommendations for a subsequent discussion. 1. Purpose of the meeting. The meeting was convened as an exploratory mediation attempt, without prejudice, to determine whether the dispute involving City of Lusaka Football Club and the City of Lusaka 1970 supporters group could be resolved outside court. No commitments or concessions were made by either party. The engagement was intended to surface expectations, clarify positions, and test whether any common ground exists. 2. Attendance. Present: Chomba Mumba, Board Chair, City of Lusaka Football Club 2000 PLC. Justine Zulu, ex-co-chairman, City of Lusaka Football Club. Edward Litana, Treasurer, City of Lusaka 1970. Mbuna Mwanza, Committee Member, City of Lusaka 1970. Edward Manda, Committee Member, City of Lusaka 1970. 3. Role clarification. Chomba Mumba opened the engagement by clarifying that the meeting was not an official settlement negotiation, but an exploratory discussion intended to understand whether continued litigation could be avoided. He emphasized that any proposals emerging from the discussion would need to be carefully considered and escalated before any position could be adopted. 4. Position and sentiments of the City of Lusaka 1970 group. The City of Lusaka 1970 representatives framed their position primarily around community identity, historical contribution, and emotional ownership of the club. Key points raised included long-standing support for the club during difficult periods, including personal sacrifices and logistical challenges. A perception of exclusion from decision-making since the PLC era. Concern about reputational standing within the football community. A sense of urgency due to the proximity of the pending court ruling. They repeatedly stressed that their interest is driven by loyalty to the club rather than commercial motives. 5. Strategic and operational context. Chomba Mumba provided context around strategic decisions taken over time, including the deliberate restructuring of the club, including stepping down divisions as part of a long-term rebuilding strategy. Significant historical expenditure on technical capacity, including high-profile international coaches, with limited sporting return. A strategic pivot towards youth development and infrastructure consolidation. Capital investments made to stabilize club operations. It was emphasized that these decisions were intended to protect and rebuild the club, not undermine it. 6. Legal context, high-level discussion only. The legal position was discussed at a high level, with emphasis on the distinction between shareholding restoration following court findings, and control or ownership of football operations. It was made clear that there is no automatic transfer of football club control arising from the legal proceedings currently before the court. 7. Explicit expectations stated by City of Lusaka 1970. When pressed to clearly state their expectations and conditions, the City of Lusaka 1970 representatives articulated the following. Financial compensation. A demand of 7 million Zambian kwacha, to be shared among approximately 10 individuals associated with City of Lusaka 1970. No detailed valuation methodology or documentary substantiation was provided during the meeting. Governance participation. A desire for participation in the governance and running of the football team, with emphasis on representation and involvement in decision-making structures. 41% community shareholding. An expectation of a stake in, or influence over, the control and direction of the 41% community shareholding within the PLC. 8. Boundary clarification on shareholding. Chomba Mumba stated unequivocally that the shareholding structure and ownership of the PLC are not open for discussion or renegotiation. Any engagement would need to recognize and respect the existing corporate and legal framework. This point was clearly communicated and understood during the meeting. 9. Governance and community involvement. The City of Lusaka 1970 group placed strong emphasis on governance inclusion, referencing. They claim to have 325 active members. A desire for formal recognition within club structures. They framed governance participation as central to restoring community confidence and support for the team. 10. Tone and dynamics of the meeting. The engagement was candid and, at times, emotionally charged, but remained respectful throughout. No threats were made, and no disruptive actions were implied. The discussion revealed a willingness to continue talking, but also highlighted a material gap between emotional expectations and enforceable legal or corporate realities. 11. Next steps. Chomba will allow Diego time to digest this report in full. Chomba reserves his views and recommendations pending a direct discussion with Diego. Any further engagement, if agreed, would require clearly defined parameters and expectations.